Live from the home of Al Capone, Michael Jordan, and deep dish pizza. Giving it to you straight from the horse's mouth. Unfiltered and restoring hope to the podcast universe. Gary Franchi.
Ding-a-ding. Yeah, that's me, Gary Franchi, with my beautiful bride, Angie Franchi. What's up, girl?
Hey, hey.
I love your hair.
I'm loving it too, babe. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, they lightened it and everything.
Yeah, summer's here.
Yeah.
We're enjoying as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, the summer of privilege. It sure is, babe. It's the summer of privilege.
You're in a safe space here. We can joke.
I'm in a safe space.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
What else is on your mind?
I need some pillows and a blankie.
Oh.
Speaking of pillows and blankie, man, I got beat up last night. The kids invaded the bed.
This is no joke, people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let me tell you something. I do my best so you can get some sleep. I got one like in here, like, you know, like a kangaroo, like
A koala.
Yeah.
Like
No.
a koala, yeah.
Like, remember Winnie the Pooh?
Sure.
Roo and
Yeah, Ruin Kanga.
Thank you. That was me with Theo. And then I had a koala bear on my back.
What?
And then the other one was at my feet. And he was like, I had to wrap my feet around him because he just wanted to feel some sort of like mama love.
Oh yeah. Well, I was wrestling with Angelo in the blankets, and getting my, you know, like
We love it.
getting
You guys,
getting a foot in the rib, and not very much sleep last night.
it's the best of times.
But not many people are sleeping well across America today. We've got a lot of news to cover on the 22nd edition of the G-Cast.
Yeah, this is the breakdown of the week right here together. A little laughter, a little tears. Something.
We're gonna try and bring it to you for real, like what's happening in the country, and
breaths.
try to make sense of it all. But there's nothing really makes sense these days.
No,
That's why we had to take a shot of bourbon before the show.
we did.
We admit, we confess.
It is our Friday night.
Yeah, welcome to Friday.
Yes.
It's
And we
Friday.
got date time coming up this weekend.
What happened?
We're doing date night, or 2 nights in a row.
Don't tell everybody where we're gonna be.
I won't tell you the secret location.
Well, we haven't had like, oh, my goodness, like, I don't think we've ever had 2 consecutive nights.
In 10 years,
Yeah.
this is going to be our first 2-night getaway.
Wow.
In 10 years.
Is it 2 consecutive?
And we just recently took our first night away.
Well, since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was right before everything happened. It was early March.
Yeah.
Our babies are small and we love them. We love being with them. So it's hard to be away, but it's important. You got to do these things.
Well, with everything happening now, you were
Something's in my
mentioning
eye.
schools reopening, or they're trying to, and there's
think-
like, I was on one of the local Facebook groups, and they were talking about
no.
like the schools opening with pods. I'm like, what?
What is that?
I'm like, what are you talking about? Pods for the children? Are they going to be pod children? You know, bubble boy? Like, what was that all about? I guess that's what they call these different groups. It's not the kid. They don't put the kid in a pod.
No.
It's like the pod is like a section of the school.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little freaked out, but I mean, I've seen some of the pictures that they're putting out there with like these crazy plastic partitions and all these arrows for the kids to walk around on. I don't know how that can be psychologically healthy for any child to have to endure something like that.
It's another layer of adjustment for our kids and for us. And I mean, if you have to do it, not every parent can. They're not in the position where they can keep their kids and homeschool them and work full time.
Yeah.
And this is another layer of adjustment, and we won't know what it's going to feel like or be
Sorry,
like.
the bourbon bottle's like on the screen. There it is. There's the bullet bourbon. Okay, you found it. All right.
It looks so cool. Look how
We didn't
big
drink
it
all
is.
this, by the way. That was just Angie one night on a bender.
You found me in a van down by the river.
A van down by the river. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just looked up and I saw the shot. I'm like, oh, there's the bullet bourbon.
So yeah, I mean, we're like a lot of parents out there. We're moving on to that part of our stage here, the school.
Well, and not just the schools. The cities themselves are
We're still in the thick of it over here.
Well, the cities.
With everything else going on.
We're going to talk about what's happening in Atlanta, Chicago, St. Louis. I've got the latest. We pulled some stories. The latest from members of the squad, AOC, Ilhan Omar, and a new city council woman out of Seattle. She's a rising star. She belongs with the squad, I think. We're going to talk about something that she said. We got some news on Don Lemon. Did you see the clip?
I can't wait to see the clip.
But the clip, okay, it wasn't not just Don Lemon. It was a Tucker Carlson clip that we covered this week, Ange, and he kept calling him Don Lemon.
Oh no, he did not.
He was totally mocking his name. I'm like, oh, Tucker, that was too funny.
They're having fun over there, throwing stabs at each other back and forth like that.
Well, it's only a matter of time before they decide they're going to demolish Mount Rushmore. So we're going to talk about that.
We'll be talking about that.
So where do you want to start? What happened in Atlanta? You picked that one today. So you wanted to talk about...
Yeah, I mean, where does it end? I mean, this is crazy here.
The summer of love.
This is not the summer of love that I ever pictured or dreamed of, that's for sure.
Well, that's what the mayor of Seattle dubbed the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, which turned into a summer of terror and chaos as people were getting shot.
Wait, I didn't know that. He named it.
No, she did.
I'm sorry.
Mayor Durkin, when the Chaz Zone was initially set up,
she thought it was going to be this peaceful, beautiful community.
Yeah, it's just going to be like this utopian, anarchist society where everyone's going to have a drum circle and they're all going to, exchange grilled cheeses for, joints or something like they did at the old Grateful Dead parking lot that I never attended. Ever.
Yeah, you weren't there.
I wasn't there.
You were there.
Not really. Maybe physically, but okay. Oh. We're going into the deep end here, Angie.
So, well, okay. I'll pull you back out. All right.
So, okay, she called it the summer. Angie, she called it the summer of love. She's like, oh, it's gonna be like the summer of love, and then you got like, how many murders took place, rapes and assaults? They set up a segregation zone for blacks only. Like what? Like I don't get it. Like
how far did they want this little experiment to go? It went too far, and it was sickening.
Yeah. And Trump said he was going to help her, but she didn't want the help, and and then all these people ended up dying, and and now all the businesses that were in that zone suffered. The people who were living in the physically who still lived in that as a resident, they suffered, and the mayor just surrendered the town, surrendered that 6 city blocks.
Like, why would you do that? Why would you leave anybody responsible who has no right in the first place to lead anything? You just show up and you take over.
Well, the mayor has no backbone. See, they're so afraid.
You could protest, but don't tell me you can lead when you leave behind terror and death.
Well, they had a really nice garden, though. Oh. Didn't you see the garden?
Watered with evil.
Yeah, really. So she has no backbone. She was not willing to stand up for the rule of law in the city and say, you're not going to take over Capitol Hill in Seattle. But let's get to Atlanta now. There was a triple shooting in Atlanta last Sunday.
Killed one person that took place at the same location as the deadly shooting of an 8-year-old black girl by Black Lives Matter protesters Saturday night. I did not hear about this, Gare.
So the area of the shooting is near the Wendy's where Rayshard Brooks was shot and killed by police last month. Since Brooks' death, protesters torched the Wendy's. What we find out, though, we did a report on this at Next News, and we found out that the person who torched the Wendy's was Rayshard Brooks. I believe it was Rayshard Brooks' girlfriend, and they caught her on video going to a local store and buying all this lighter fluid. And then in the next clip, there's another clip that we played on the news where you can see the same person wearing the same clothes setting fire to the Wendy's. What does it accomplish? I just want a double stack. I want a Baconator. You don't need to torch the Wendy's. It's not Wendy's fault.
No. It's just madness. Total madness. I can't even comprehend what's happening at this point. It's so out of control. All right. Since Brooks' death, protesters torched the Wendy's and set up armed checkpoints in the area. The 8-year-old girl was killed when the car she was in with her mother came upon a group of armed protesters blocking the road at the Wendy's. Atlanta police cleared the barriers almost 2 weeks ago after letting them stand for over a week. But apparently the armed protesters were still blocking roads. On Sunday, Atlanta Mayor Keisha
Bottoms
finally told the far-left protesters to disperse after the 8-year-old girl was murdered.
And so it takes an 8-year-old girl getting murdered,
Yeah,
for somebody to do something. You have armed protesters. Now look, I'm not going to pretend to be something here. I support armed protests. I support it. Okay, like we had in Virginia a couple months back, when blackface governor of Virginia, Northam, wants to take away everyone's guns, and they had an armed protest. But it's not like they weren't like patrolling. They weren't holding down checkpoints. They weren't shooting people. They were just presenting their Second Amendment rights. This is a very different situation here.
And how hard were those people? Like, how hard did people come on the people in Virginia who were protesting, armed protesters?
They weren't, like I said, they weren't patrolling. They weren't setting up perimeters. They weren't blocking people access. But in Atlanta, this is what happened. The mayor, we have a clip here. Let's see, what does she have to say?
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We have talked about this movement that's happening across America in this moment in time where we have the ears and the interest of people across this country and across this globe who are saying they want to see change. But the difference in this moment in time with the civil rights movement, there was a defined common enemy. So we're fighting the enemy within when we are shooting each other up on our streets in this city, and you shot and killed a baby. And it wasn't one shooter, there were at least 2 shooters. An 8-year-old baby. If you want people to take us seriously, and you don't want us to lose this movement, then we can't lose each other.
I'm sorry, but the blood's on her hands. It's her fault. She didn't step in soon enough. She did not step in soon enough. The blood is on her hands, just like it's on the hands of the Seattle mayor and any other mayor that decides not to take action when you have unlawful activity. I'm all about peaceful protests. It's all about being able to express your First Amendment and present your position. But when it turns like that, it's too late.
We have an 8-year-old boy.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's difficult. Now that was in Atlanta.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. This is difficult stuff to discuss. And it hits home.
But you're right. Like, people in charge here have to take charge. Enough is enough.
And take responsibility.
Settle this down. I swear, I'm sorry.
No swearing on the podcast.
I'm sorry.
Now you gave Brian more work to do.
Sorry, Brian.
Okay, so that was in Atlanta. Did you know that I believe she's actually on the short list of VP nominations for Biden? Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to happen now, though. So Senator John Kennedy, he's one of the more colorful senators in the United States. He's out of Louisiana. He called Chicago. He called out Mayor Lightfoot.
Good.
And she needs to be called out.
Absolutely.
Did you know that she was actually blamed CV as the reason that crime is up?
No, honey.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Don't. That makes me sick that you even took that road to.
It's a cop-out.
Yeah.
It's a cop-out. Let's take a look. We've got Senator Kennedy saying that Chicago is now the largest outdoor shooting range in America.
Yeah, and it was it seems that we're at a point, Senator, it's words and symbolism. 125 years combined experience versus real solutions, real law and order, real safety and security. When President Trump shattered, he shattered record after record after record
jump ahead
for
on this.
minority low unemployment.
It's address the problems of our inner cities.
Turn them down a little bit.
Great question.
Chicago is now the largest outdoor shooting range in America, and other cities are following. It's not caused by the coronavirus. It's not caused by racism. It's caused by nihilism. To kill a child, you have to be a nihilist goon with no values whatsoever. But that is what happens when we defund our police, when we refuse to fix our schools, and we undermine the family unit.
That's what's happening. The family unit's being undermined. And now you have the disintegration of law and order in the city. Brian, those clips are coming in a little bit hot. If you could just adjust those for our listeners, please.
When he talks about defunding the police, right? I saw this, I was watching earlier this clip of Biden watching a father who had ALS. And he was asking Biden the question, do you support getting the police defunded? Mm-hmm. And they showed a clip of, and I'm sorry, I forget the man who was a black male he was ultimately killed. He was drunk and he ran. I don't know the whole situation, but they were suggesting that in this situation.
Was that the Rayshard Brooks situation?
It may have been him.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was. They were suggesting that this was a situation, instead of calling the police, you could call a social worker in. Mm-hmm. But if somebody's out of control, let's say the situation where the person was armed and he was drunk and he was out of control, how does the social worker deal with a situation like that? All of a sudden they're going to call for backup? Is that too little too late? And then do we worry about the fact that now this social worker's life, their blood is on our hands now because we didn't send in armed police to handle it?
Yeah, no, you make an excellent point. And we covered that this week also about that was a Now This interview with Biden, and that's where he said, we could have
that was a Now This, yes.
It was a Now This interview, and Biden's like, let's defund the police, let's bring in social workers. But you bring a good point up. If you got a belligerent drunk, okay, and
try talking sense into someone who's wasted. Yeah. I'm not using this guy as an example, but in general, if you're in a situation where you have a belligerent drunk, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't know if he's armed or not, and he goes right after the social worker. Maybe he doesn't have a gun. Maybe he or she kills the social worker with their hands.
Yeah.
You know?
But, at least they had gender studies classes, and they know. I mean, come on, seriously. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing. I understand the de-escalation. Teach the officers de-escalation techniques, but I know they already are getting training in all these areas. So you're not going to call in the social workers in the middle of the night to go and handle a drunk guy at the Wendy's drive-thru. It just doesn't work.
I don't know how it could.
It couldn't
safely.
And this is the delusion that they are living in. Mm-hmm. Okay. Remember, I was talking to you just before we went to the show here today. I said, "Did you hear what happened in Kane County?"
That was ridiculous.
Someone's sign, "Defund the police" yard sign. It said, "Defund the police and ultimately abolish the police." That's what the sign said. Abolish the police. They had it in their front yard. Someone stole it, and what did they do? They called the police. And the police recovered the sign and replaced it in the person's yard.
I cannot even believe they had the nerve to call the police.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So what happens if you don't have police? You know what happens if you don't have police? You got to defend your home. Like that family in St. Louis.
But that's not okay either, apparently.
Well, no. That couple in St. Louis, the BLM mob crashes through a gate.
There's video footage of them going through the gate and a sign that clearly says private property, but yet they're white supremacists because they're white.
Oh, they dubbed them Ken and Karen.
Yeah, Ken and Karen. I've seen so many crazy memes.
Oh, I know. They're pretty funny, actually.
I've seen another crazy meme where there's all of a sudden there's a young boy in the meme, and he looks like he's a white version of Ken, a little one, right? And it's something along the lines of, this was even worse, okay? It's suggesting that their son is now, hey, that's my dealer.
Oh.
You know, like suggesting, oh, here's this rich white boy getting his drugs from
that's even worse.
Little black kids or whatever.
That's stereotyping.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
It's like, stop this man this. Stop stereotyping people.
Well, the family, they are the McCloskeys.
Let's hear what they had to say here.
There's a clip of them on Hannity. We're going to play for you right now.
Some overly ambitious prosecutor wants to actually charge you for what are legal weapons. Let's go back to the first incident. They broke down the gate. They made threats specifically against you, both of you, and even your pets.
That's true, and it was shocking. I mean, the gate came in. Seemingly everybody in the world came forward. Literally, I think the estimate is 300 to 500 people came right towards us. We were preparing to have dinner on the porch, and we were literally maybe 70 feet from the gate. By the time we got our guns, by the time I got my gun, the crowd was maybe 30 or 40 feet from us.
What were the threats?
It was the end.
Patricia, what were the threats?
People were screaming everything.
That they were going to kill us. They were going to come in there. They were going to burn down the house. They were going to be living in our house after I was dead. And they pointed to different rooms and said, that's going to be my bedroom, and that's going to be the living room, and I'm going to be taking a shower in that room. And then the dog barked. I mean, there were so many threats. And then the dog barked, and they said, and I'm going to be killing her too, or it too. Your dog's out. I'll be killing your dog.
My understanding.
Yeah. Sounds like a group of peaceful protesters to me.
Yeah, just wanted to have a chit chat.
Yeah, they just wanted to walk through the neighborhood and hold their signs.
No, man. Yo, if you're coming 300 deep to my house, don't expect me to offer you tea and crackers.
Yeah.
Like,
would you like some sweet tea?
I don't care who you are or what you represent. No, you don't come to somebody's home, that many people, thinking that you're coming here to be peaceful. I don't think so.
We did another story related to that incident, and there was a local news reporter who was there, actually, who was assaulted and chased by somebody with an AK-47. They pulled out an AK-47 on the news reporter, the local news.
One of the protesters?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear about that.
So it's not like these guys were like, just going for a walk in the park.
No, not all protesters are peaceful. Not all protesters are being a good representation of the group that they say they're associated with.
Well, we've said
so
this.
It doesn't matter if you tell me you're part of BLM, or it won't matter to you if I tell you I'm part of BLM. If I'm acting unlawful, dangerous, then you're a jerk. Sorry. You're a jerk. You don't represent who you're saying you're representing.
Well, the sad part is a lot of these protests are becoming co-opted by an extremist faction, and they make the rest of the people look bad. And then they tear down gates.
And we should be able to talk about that without you being called a racist or me being called a racist.
Just talking about facts. And, facts
has nothing to do with color.
It's
everything to do with your behavior and your actions.
We're going to be right back on the other side of this break. We've got some more news. We're going to cover the latest antics from the squad, AOC, Ilhan Omar, and their new buddy up in Seattle.
You're naughty, Gary. What?
We got some clips we're going to play from some of the news this week, and you don't want to miss this. So we will be right back. Before we do, remember to go over to noblegoldinvestments.com, our new sponsor.
Yes, please.
We'll have more on the other side. Be right back.
The G-Cast will be right back after this short break from our sponsors. After Hours is back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. We are back. We are back on the G-Cast. Gary Franchi with my beloved bride, Angie Franchi.
Thanks, babe.
If you are worried about the markets, if you're worried about your investments, make sure you give my friends at Noble Gold a call. All right? Tell them Gary Franchi sent you. 877-646-5347. Tell them you heard about it on the G-Cast specifically. Because they will help you convert your 401k into solid gold you can actually take possession of. And it's something with the market fluctuations, something very important to have in your portfolio because it's stable and gold has always stood the test of time. So make sure you give my friends at Noble Gold Investments a call, 877-646-5347, or visit the website noblegoldinvestments.com. All right. Now,
good people over there.
They've been supporting us for a long time.
Yes.
We love those guys. Tell Colin I said what's up when you call. All right, so jumping into the next segment here. Oh, Ilhan Omar. I wish these people would just go away. But you know what? I do secretly love just the ridiculous stuff they say because it gives us so much more like to comment on.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I've seen clips. I've seen a clip of her with taking a picture with a young lady, and the young lady's mother is a known Republican, and there's a clip of the young girl saying, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And Ilhan says, "Yeah, of course." She's like, "But I don't think your mother wants you to."
Wow.
Right? It's like, stop, just stop. Anyway.
So Ilhan's back in the news, and she's now calling for capitalism to be destroyed in the name of social justice. She said, as long as our economy and political system prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality so we cannot stop at the criminal justice system. She wants to tear the whole thing down.
What's the plan?
Let's play the clip here, and we'll see. You'll hear it for herself.
Let's see this.
As long as our economy and political systems prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out, we will perpetuate this inequality. So we cannot stop at criminal justice system. We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
So capitalism is oppressive, apparently.
Dismantle.
Maybe she should go to one of those communist nations. Why did she come here? If this is such an oppressive nation, why did she come here?
To change things.
Oh, because she wants it to be just as oppressive where she left? Bring up that NDI shot from the Babylon Bee. Would you please? This is obviously a satire headline. I've got to preface that. This is basically what she said, though. We must dismantle the oppressive system that allowed a refugee to get elected to the highest legislative body of the land. What's so oppressive about this country that she comes here as a refugee? She finds safe harbor in the United States. And now she wants to dismantle the whole system?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
What's up with that? She's able to climb the ladder of privilege and opportunity in America, but yet now she wants to completely dismantle it. Explain that to me.
Do you feel like perhaps some would prefer that she didn't do it in a manner where some would feel like she hates the United States, where she was a little more, I don't want to use the word grateful or
subtle hatred.
Not subtle, yeah, subtle hatred, yeah. Right? You never hear any love coming from her for this country, and for me, like I do love this country. We have a lot of flaws. We have a lot of problems. But I also recognize how amazing and wonderful this country is. So I feel like if she could just, excuse me, do you feel like that too? But well, it's like you just get hate from her. Hate, and anger.
Ilhan Omar came to the U.S. as a refugee. Now she's calling for the overthrow of the current system. That's what I just don't, that's what blows my mind.
Sure.
Is that she would come here and she would say, I hate this country. What her exact quote was, as long as our economy and political system prioritize profit without considering who is profiting. Okay, what does that even mean? Let's break it down. Political systems that prioritize profit.
Right.
Without considering who is profiting. Okay, if you start a business in this country and you take the risk, you invest your money so that you can turn a profit, is that wrong?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, that's what makes America great, is that we all have the opportunity to move and make the decisions so that we can take advantage of the freedoms that we have. Now, yes, there's a lot of regulations, a lot of red tape and garbage that we have to deal with, but anybody, that's the thing, anybody can do it in America. Anyone can become successful in America. You just have to have the drive and the ambition and the determination to fulfill that.
That's
to
it.
see the dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
But she's saying, if you don't consider who's profiting, what? Well, so wait, if I want to consider that I'm going to profit off this, that's
too
bad?
vague. This is too vague. Yeah. Who are you?
Oh, I didn't consider you. I didn't consider you when I'm going to profit.
I can't do that.
Come on, this is foolish. And then who is being shut out? Who is shut out when you decide to start a business? As long as our economy and political system prioritize profit without considering who is profiting, who is being shut out. I don't understand. What does that even mean? Who's being shut out when you start a business?
I'm at a loss for words. It's like, how unfair do you think that I am, or mean, or greedy because I started a business for myself?
Well, I got an idea here.
And I'm profiting.
I'm going to start a pet shop. Okay, and I'm going to sell pet food. But wait a minute. You don't own a pet. So guess what? Am I shutting you out because you don't own a pet? Therefore, you cannot go shop in my store, and you cannot take advantage of the things that I offer in that store because you don't own a pet?
I could see how someone would be offended by that.
Yeah. So that's AOC. Oh, no, sorry, that's Ilhan Omar's latest. But the woman from Seattle, that's a doozy. That's coming up in a moment. But let's go to AOC next. Okay,
you just got both of them in today.
Yeah. AOC. Do you want to read that?
Sure. Oh, okay. AOC is pushing to defund the police in New York City. Violence and murders are soaring in the city right now. But Ocasio-Cortez doesn't know what will take the place of police. She says to try some experimentation. She even suggests passing experimentation legislation. What?
What does that mean? We're gonna pass a law. We're gonna experiment first.
Yeah, because we're all on board with that plan. AOC proves Democrats have no idea what will take the place of police after defunding. She calls for experimentation with public safety and to even pass laws in the spirit of that experimentation. I hate when she talks. She talks in riddles sometimes, or mostly, right? And it drives me nuts.
Well, just like Ilhan Omar trying to deconstruct her last sentence, man.
I don't want to experiment. I want a solid plan.
Give us a plan.
Yeah.
Give us a plan we can debate. Give us a plan we can actually see.
Yeah.
Don't say we're going to experiment.
You talk to the people in the area that you're suggesting to experiment, and let's see how they feel with your idea of experimenting with them.
The Daily Caller, I think it was, or maybe it was.
Right?
Yeah. No, I'm going to reinforce your point.
Okay.
The Daily Caller, or I think it was the Daily Wire. They went out in the street and they asked people in New York, "What do you think about defunding the police?" Like, they went to like the white neighborhoods, and they went to the black neighborhoods. And the white people were like, "Oh yeah, defund the police." And the black neighbors like, "Hell no, don't defund the police." But like, it's all these like white people who think, I mean, these embedded stereotypes that they have, and they feel like because they need to reinforce this position of the BLM, so they have that white guilt, so they go ahead and they say, "Oh yes, do it," because they think that they have to say it. But then when you go to the actual communities, the communities of color, they say the opposite. No, we need the police. We need them here because we know just how bad the crime is, and we need their help. It's just it's ridiculous. It's upside down.
The pushing of it is sad, because you're saying defund the police. How do you expect people how do you expect police officers and their families to feel when you say you want to defund them?
Who wants to be a police officer? Who in their right mind would want to be a police officer in this day and age? With the attacks that they're enduring at every single corner. Someone messaged me, private messaged me on Facebook. I'm not going to say where, I'm not going to say who, but he said that their entire police department is up in arms because they have no support from leadership. They are being left high and dry, and they have to go out there, risk their lives. They have to walk up to cars. They have to walk up to a car. You pull someone over and walk up. They don't know what's going to be in that car. No. They don't know who's going to be in that car. They don't know what's going to happen when that window rolls down. And I've seen enough police videos where police officers are getting shot right when that window goes down. They do not know. And they have been instructed. There's certain ways that police officers have to walk up to a car because they know the angle of the bullets. They have to stand from the rear and look over. They risk their lives every day. And yeah, there's bad apples. There's no question. But who wants to be a police officer now? Should we play the clip?
No, I hear you.
Should we play the clip from AOC?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's play the clip from AOC. This is what she just said recently about experimenting.
And we can disagree about the details of it, but we can't go back. And this conversation, figuring out that path forward, as much as we want policy to be, I'm going to propose it, I'm going to have all of the answers and put a neat little bow, and we're going to pass this one law once and everything is going to be fixed. That's how we wish all of this stuff works. But what it really is going to take is experimentation, and to ask what if, and to even pass laws in the spirit of that experimentation as well.
I don't like that.
We're going to pass laws in the spirit of experimentation? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, my God.
I'm at a loss for words with that.
What now? AOC, members of the squad. Totally nuts. So that's in New York. Ilhan Omar, obviously, in Minnesota. I just hope that these people get primaried. I hope they get primaried. I hope that they are voted out of office, because these people are working to destroy this country from within. I mean, this next woman...
There's not enough leadership coming from them. There just isn't. It's crazy ideas that are not... Let me say that again. These are serious matters, and we absolutely they need to be addressed. Reform and change is good, but the way that they're coming about and trying to convince you and I that this is the way it should go is only causing more madness and more
well, there's no logic to it. There's no logic to it. It's all just knee-jerk reaction, emotional response.
And then we're on to the next thing, and nothing gets resolved. There's no leadership coming from them. There's no answer.
Now, have you seen this this Seattle City Councilwoman?
I have not.
Oh, wait till you see this, Angie.
It's Friday. We're catching up here.
Oh,
Let's see
Angie,
this.
Wait till this woman will blow your mind. She makes AOC and Ilhan Omar look like kindergartners.
Oh boy, oh
like
boy.
With the aggressive stance that she's taking. Okay, her name is Kashama Sawant, and she was complaining about the Amazon tax.
Okay,
so she's upset that Jeff Bezos is making all this money with Amazon, something he started in a small. I remember when Amazon got started just selling books. It was nothing. I was delivering groceries, and then Amazon was delivering books, and Amazon was like this next thing we saw coming up, and that's what he did. Capitalism. He started from the ground up, and now it's a big, huge corporation, and he's the target now.
Oh, totally. She threatens to seize control of the Fortune 500 and overthrow the racist, sexist, violent, utterly bankrupt system of capitalism. If you oppose her, We are coming for you.
So let's play the clip.
Is this her speaking?
Yeah, this is
okay.
before you read it. Let's play the clip.
All right,
I want to
let's
get
do
your
it.
reaction to what she's saying, Angie.
All right, let's check this out.
I have a message for Jeff Bezos and his class. If you attempt again to overturn the Amazon tax, working people will go all out in the thousands to defeat you. And we will not stop there, because you see, we are fighting for far more than this tax. We are preparing the ground for a different kind of society. And if you, Jeff Bezos, want to drive that process forward by lashing out against us in our modest demands, then so be it, because we are coming for you and your rotten system. We are coming to dismantle this deeply oppressive, racist, sexist, violent, utterly bankrupt system of capitalism, this police state. We cannot and will not stop until we overthrow it and replace it with a world based instead on solidarity, genuine democracy, and equality, a socialist world. Thank you.
She said thank you. She said thank you.
She did. She said equality. She said
she wants
solidarity.
a peaceful society.
Genuine democracy.
It sounds like
Angie.
she's willing to do whatever it takes to get it.
Genuine democracy, Angie. A socialist world. But she's willing to do whatever it takes to dismantle it. The bankrupt system of capitalism.
She's willing to do whatever it takes. Does that include violence? Does that include murder? Like, what are you suggesting here?
Well, look what's happening in the cities across the country right now. It's a Marxist revolution, disguised as some sort of civil rights movement.
Disguised. Yeah, I'm not on board, people. I want to see something better than that.
And she's using Jeff Bezos as her, the enemy. And I did a report on this week, and one of the points I made, Jeff Bezos and Donald Trump, they hate each other.
I didn't know that.
Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post.
I didn't know that.
The Washington Post, one of the most biased publications out there. He owns it.
Kind of makes sense, sure.
So they are left-wing, liberal publication, and now you've got someone that's even crazier left going after one of their, who could be one of their biggest allies. Did you know, Ange?
This is wild.
Did you know they put a guillotine in front of his house?
No.
Yeah.
Who's they?
Some protesters. They went outside of his house and they set up a guillotine. And they said, this is going to happen to you. They literally put a guillotine in front of his house.
Oh.
I don't know.
Anything else
Yeah.
for 2020? Wow.
Bring back the murder hornets.
Oh, God. That was like old news real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, look at her. So what she says here, we are preparing the ground for a different kind of society. Like, let's switch this up.
We are coming for you and your rotten system. Okay?
Is anyone supporting her? Like,
wait, hang on. She says, we cannot and will not stop until we overthrow it. This is sedition. This is sedition. She's calling for an overthrow of our system of government, our system of commerce. And people elected her? Again, this is the privilege. What kind of privilege has she had her entire life growing up in this nation? Is taking advantage of the opportunities America affords, and now she's going to be elected to Seattle City Council, and she wants to overthrow everything. So everything's gray.
This is becoming the norm.
Not on my watch.
Heck no. Where is anyone coming out talking for peace and working together? Am I just like,
I know.
I got a hippie heart.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
but honestly, like, it's just so aggressive.
Well, this is, Angie, what you said. Where are people talking about, love in these things, right? Well, she says here, we're going to replace it with a world based on solidarity, equality, and genuine democracy.
You're going to force it to happen.
Exactly. We're going to force you to love. We're going to force you to be equal.
Stop. It doesn't work like that.
Isn't it crazy? In one sentence, she says, we're going to violently overthrow you. In the next sentence, she says, it's all going to be equal and loving and genuine.
Excellent point made, Gare. You cannot do things like this.
They talk out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah. If it works for them, they'll do it.
I need another shot.
Right?
So
that?
that's where we are right now, folks. That's where we are. So she definitely belongs in the squad lineup with AOC and Ilhan Omar. She's just making a name for herself. I know she is. And she's, with this kind of crazy rhetoric that she's spewing, she'll climb the ranks of the privileged leftist Democrat society or whatever, and she might end up becoming a congresswoman. Because that's what they do. They take advantage of the opportunity, and then they go ahead and throw it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any other thoughts, Angie, before we go to our break? And we're going to come back and talk about Don Lemon.
Don Lemon. Oh, just keep believing in what you believe in, folks out there. If your heart is in the right place and you want to see this world be better, don't do it like this. Work together.
What is it Donnie Wahlberg? No, it's
Love Eternal.
No.
That's what he says.
No, be best or no. You always on Instagram you're like
inspire to do better.
Inspire to do better.
Yeah, that's Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, okay. I like those boys.
Yeah, you do.
You know what?
I may not have a six-pack like them, but I have a heart as big as they do.
You have the best heart in the world.
Oh my!
But
goodness.
be positive. Send out more positivity. Lead with positivity. Don't lead with anger like that. And join us when we get back.
On the flip side.
You said it.
I did.
We've gotta pay a few bills over here, so sit tight, and the G-Cast will return in a few moments. Time to return to the G-Cast with your host, Gary Franchi.
And we're back on the G-Cast. I'm Gary Franchi with Angie Franchi, my beloved bride.
Hey.
What's up, girl? I had the Babylon Bee open.
That's always a fun time.
And Brian, pull up the NDI shot. I couldn't help it. Pull up the NDI of this. Elizabeth Warren has declared herself the warlord of the Eastern Oklahoma Autonomous Zone.
Oh my gosh.
I
they
guess
come up with the funniest stuff.
Well, there's I guess I haven't looked too deep into this story yet, but apparently half of Oklahoma has been determined to be belonging to the Native Americans now. So they're going to give this all back, I guess. I don't know. But the next story here is Bible experts determine Goliath died of COVID-19.
Oh my God. That's brilliant. Listen, they won't be canceled because they're a joke, right? Everything's a joke on that site.
Well, Babylon Bee had some issues with Facebook, and they had to go through some lawsuits and such too. Like,
what was it about?
I don't know. It's just
people were thinking it's real.
Yeah, because people like. I mean, I always share these Babylon Bee stories.
Yeah, you do,
because they're so funny. But some people actually believe they're real. And anyway, but what is real? Don Lemon has a fix for Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course it's an issue now. Wasn't that before, right?
Well, that's for Mount Rushmore. I mean, everything's racist. They take down statues of Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt. They've taken all those statues down.
Yeah.
And those,
it's just a statue, Gare.
Those are the faces on Mount Rushmore. By the way.
And who? What are you gonna go do? Get rid of them?
Well, no. Don Lemon has a plan. Should we play the plan?
Let's do it.
Let's hear what he has to say.
I think. Listen, people are gonna pick this up. If they're gonna put someone on Mount Rushmore, considering the history of this country, the first black president should be front and center.
Add to Mount Rushmore. Look, I think that's first of all, I think it's a more saleable idea than the idea of taking away founding fathers. You know, and again, all of this is fodder for debate and discussion. You got to have the talk. You just can't hate people from having ideas you don't like. You know, that's the only mistake we can make.
What do you think about that, Ange?
Was there like a fight after he made that comment? You can't hate people for having, what did you say, different ideas? Mm-hmm. Was there a fight that erupted between those two afterwards?
They get into it every once in a while.
You know what? I mean, I wouldn't oppose the idea of adding Barack Obama. He is our first black president.
Okay.
It's fine with me.
The comments are going to explode now.
I know, people. I know. But listen.
I would say, actually, he's our first Kenyan president. The guy was born in Kenya.
See, that's another one Brian has to get rid of. I swore again.
Did you swear?
Yeah.
Look, I don't believe the guy was born here. I don't believe he was born here. I think he was born in Kenya. He's an illegitimate president. End of story. You can argue the point.
That is not the end of the story at all. You just made up another story we have to discuss.
Well, okay. Sheriff Joe Arpaio did a complete forensic analysis of that birth certificate. You want to get into that?
No.
And
I don't.
They deconstructed the whole thing, the whole birth certificate the White House put out when the question was raised was determined to be a forensic, completely manufactured. It was fake.
Scandalous.
So, yeah. I don't know why we have. Why do we have? Oh, I know why this is. Okay, this next clip we're about to play here. I just forgot what it was again. It's got to be the bourbon.
But I mean, as far as going back to, you know, the controversy now over Mount Rushmore and removing their faces, it's a problem now and it wasn't before. Is it really a problem? Is it really something we need to be focusing our energy on?
Well, the media seems to think it's racist. Responding to President Trump's speech at the famed monument, Don Lemon said that the racist and divisive history of the country should translate to the first black president being placed on Mount Rushmore. Okay, so we got a clip here. It's a supercut from Gravy and News. We played it this week on Next News as well. And it highlights the absolute hypocrisy. Have you seen this yet?
I have not.
Okay.
These are all new clips you're playing for me. That's wonderful.
So it's because you don't subscribe to Next News?
I don't.
Oh, you just got caught.
Of course I do.
You do? I'm going to check your subscriptions.
Oh, dang. Hang on a second. It's like sometimes I block you, sometimes I don't.
Well, I know you can't keep up with all the news I cover, and I don't blame you.
Gary,
what?
You do such an incredible job covering so much news. But
Keep going,
this
keep
is
going.
our
Keep
Friday
praising me.
recap.
Keep praising me.
You are amazing. I love you.
Oh, okay.
You do.
All right.
You do a great job, babe.
Thanks. Should we watch the clip?
I guess.
All right, let's see this.
Donald Trump chose the most grandiose symbol of U.S. imperialism on Earth to usher in a very on-brand, star-spangled spectacle.
The mother of all photo ops, Mount Rushmore. And we know why this president just can't resist going there.
President Trump will be at Mount Rushmore, where he'll be standing in front of a monument of 2 slave owners and on land wrestled away from Native Americans.
We have to acknowledge that Mount Rushmore is sitting on Lakota land.
The place Donald Trump is going to on Friday is stolen land.
He will inevitably and predictably talk about our heritage. In other words, he will talk about he is the protector of white America.
And to indigenous people, Mount Rushmore, with 4 white presidents, 2 of whom were slave owners, is one of those symbols.
Questions have really been raised about Thomas Jefferson in particular, but also George Washington for their holdings of slaves.
It's worth reminding folks that the man who carved the monument behind me had deep ties to the KKK.
There are other issues. The sculptor, Gutzon Borglum, was a supporter of the Ku Klux Klan. That, of course, is something in all the history books.
Mount Rushmore isn't exactly the innocent ode to our founding fathers as described in our textbooks, and it's high time we disrupt that false narrative that far too many people believe.
This is our country at its very best. What an incredible achievement.
Visiting Mount Rushmore today, Bernie Sanders taking in the majesty of the moment, this monument to 4 great American presidents.
Just the accomplishment and the beauty here. It really does make one very proud to be an American.
Look at that. That was 2016. That was Bernie Sanders 2016.
That's why I can't give any kind of attention or seriousness to this, because it's all just a matter of, because Trump was there. If they were discussing this at a different time, perhaps we could have an adult conversation and maybe.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you.
But this is just too obvious.
An adult conversation needs to be had.
Mm-hmm.
These people.
You can address Mount Rushmore, but you're doing it in a matter of just pure hate and because Trump was showing up.
Because Trump was there.
That's it.
So we need to point out that the guy who sculpted it was a member of the
This is going to be a great story. Keep saying it on air.
We know why Trump's going there, because it was stolen from the Lakota tribe.
Okay,
What?
well, where was your support prior to Trump arriving there? It took Trump to make this news?
Yeah.
Well, you can thank him, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's a hidden part of history, but the point is they're highlighting this. And then you flash back, 2016, Bernie Sanders is like, yeah, this is a great piece of an American accomplishment. I'm proud to be an American. Okay.
It should have been on your list of things to do prior to Trump arriving there.
But that highlights the hypocrisy.
Right.
That highlights the entire game. It's totally rigged. It's totally fake. It's totally manufactured narratives in order to try to denigrate our president, like him or not.
And also further the divide.
Thank you.
I don't.
How are they helping? They're not. Everything is racist. Everything is racist. Right?
Yeah. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be like that.
I know. I'm just.
But we know better. People out there know better.
So
you got that song stuck in my head.
We're gonna go now, folks. But I want to leave you with something. We try to leave every show with a little bit of levity, and I want you to pay very close attention. If you haven't seen this clip yet, pay very close attention. Speaking of CNN, the CNN anchor pay very close attention to what's happening behind her.
Oh boy, Gary, what did you pick here?
What is going on behind this CNN anchor? Yeah. So as we close out the week, I want to say thank you to all of our new subscribers.
Thank you, thank you.
We're like 23,000 subscribers on the channel now.
You guys are the best. Thank you for sticking with us and continuing to watch. This is exciting for me and Gary. This is our new baby. This is our fourth baby.
And I also want to say thank you
we both gave birth, huh?
to Noble Gold Investments.
Yeah.
And make sure you go to noblegoldinvestments.com. Tell Colin Gary said hello. And as always, stay gold. We'll see you next week.
ICU beds, no more beds available for people in the ICU if the rate is continuing like this. And so here in California, you can expect that there may be some new rules that are put in.
That's all we've got for you right now. Gary's got to run. We thank you for tuning into our podcast. If you're hungry for more, head on over to Gary's Next News Network YouTube channel for the latest news and commentary on current events. Until next time, stay gold.